Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, a podcast on the FX television series Fargo, where we talk about how you can get great deals without having the money up front at Walmart, or in the past, maybe some Kmarts, but we do it. I'm Bill, and me and my buddy Sharpie, we're here to tell you all about the great deals and what you can do on layaway.
That's right.
Isn't that what we're doing? We're talking about commerce?
Tonight we are talking about layaway. Did you say television, by the way? I liked it. Like a till.
To play it. I don't know what's happening. It's
like the I thought it was like
longest weeks of my life.
I thought it was like a play into layaway on the television.
Oh, I don't know. I'll when I go back to moderately edit this show, I'll know more. How are you? Have you been well since last night? Less than 24 hours ago? Nothing's changed in your world?
It has been a long 24 hours. It is going to be a long week. I did take a little bit of a break. I took an excursion tonight during the magic hour. It was about 4:24 p.m., I believe, tonight.
Oh, 4:20 in Colorado? Nice.
Went downtown, just went on a photo safari, an urban safari, if you will. And took a bunch of photos of basically everybody boarding up all the buildings in downtown Denver. So good stuff. Yeah.
Good times.
Just getting ready for another American election over here.
Stay safe, people. Stay safe. We hope you're well. Well, let's talk about Season 4, Episode 7, Layaway, Fargo.
Yes, we are over halfway through already. Can you believe it?
Yeah. It's hard to believe.
So,
Twisted by Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. What a great song to bring us into Orietta's world, making her tasty Gaztex self-adhering macaroons.
Yeah, so she came. I was going to talk to you about that, because she said macaroon, but really it was a macaron.
So I think that's a very astute thing, though, because many people do that, and we're not here to be the police on that.
Well,
but yes, they are two different cookies.
Totally different.
A macaron is the thing that was on the show. A macaroon is a terrible thing that has fucking coconut all over it,
I
right?
like macaroons.
Wait, do you like the macaroon or the macaron?
I would much prefer a macaroon over a macaron, because a macaron always seems way, way, way too sweet.
Yeah, but we've talked about this before. I'm sweet, you're savory.
Sure.
We would make a really great couple. We'd never finish either way. Nobody wants macaroons.
I do.
The macaroon, right? That is a small cake/cookie made from ground almonds, coconuts. Whereas a macaron is something different. It's a delicious cookie thing made from like egg whites, and then eventually they added filling to it. And everything she said on the show, that was true.
Yeah, so I actually learned some stuff there. I actually learned that macarons originated in Italy. Did not know that. Always thought it was a French thing. We have records of it dating back to the 1500s, 1533.
Thank God for Wikipedia, right?
King of France, Henry II. But it wasn't until the 1890s that a little Parisian confectioner decided to put two of those little almond cookies together with a delicious filling inside.
You know what the most important thing about them is? Not coconut. Just gonna say it.
I have had some pretty good macarons. They are so beautiful. I do love that.
They are, and they're they're delicate. Like that. Well, that look on his face when you eat one. If you get a good one, that's kind of the way you feel. Whereas when you eat a macaroon, you put it in your mouth and then you want to spit it out like sawdust because of the coconut, right? Right. I'm just trying to trigger people.
What was your opinion on delicious giveaways like Mounds and Almond Joy?
Complete trash. Never go to that house again.
Oh my God. I loved both
Hey,
of them.
put out a bowl of candy, the mixed bag of candy, and I guarantee you when you get to the end of it, it's chock full of Mounds and Almond Joys. It's like
Really?
when everybody says oh dude, I shit you not. It's like,
Dude.
order a pizza, get a Supreme. You know what is always left at the end of the pizza party? Supreme. You know why? Nobody wants it. Everybody just wants pepperoni or pepperoni and sausage or cheese if you're lame.
Wow.
Or Neapolitano. Anyway, we can't talk about this. We got other stuff. We got to talk about layaway, brother.
Is macaroon and macaron a ratapiardo thing?
I don't know. I guess you got two little cookies coming together. Double up. I did have so we were recording this way later than
it's
normal.
late. It's late,
And-
folks. This is what we do for you.
Yeah. I'm not really sure how the self-absorbing gauze, if your throat works the way it's supposed to, and I've choked on some stuff, if it makes it to your esophagus when you swallow and your uvula and like the whole back of your mouth is working, you shouldn't really choke on anything. So I don't know. Was it poisoned with gauze because it's self-adhering gauze? Because I looked up gauze tech, and it was like it sticks to itself, but not to your skin. Was the big thing about gauze techs.
Really?
Yeah, it was used. It was used by hunters and all
Sure.
sorts of stuff to kind of protect yourself against your boots and stuff. But anyway, who cares? He's dead. She's happy.
Mhm.
Angel of death.
I think we're all a little bit happy. I mean, the guy was a major dick. We didn't really have...
I'm not sad to see Dr. Harvard go. No, not at
Nobody
all.
is sad to see that man go. In fact, we didn't really have much time to even get wrapped around him at all whatsoever. He was just one of those characters that could easily come and go, and they just made him into an asshole so they could have an easy kill, I feel like.
You know what? It's speaking of Rado Piarlo, it's a twofer. She wants him dead because he's got something she doesn't want the world to know, and she did it for her fuck buddy, who's been trying to get him killed for a while now.
Yeah.
It's a double up.
It's a double ender.
Whoa, that's a whole other thing. I still really love when she shushes him and brushes the crumbs off his face. That is the ultimate just... Oh, you got something on your face there. Don't want anyone to know you had a little crumbly cookie in your mouth.
No.
Sorry. Bye.
How about that shot, though, when it's from down low and it shows her and those windows are just, like, glowing red?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was like...
Angel of Death.
It was that... I thought it was that weird scene from Lord of the Rings where she's like, you will not... Oh, well, who was it? The one Elven... You know what I'm talking about? Kate Blanchett's character. I kept waiting for that to... You know the scene I'm talking about. But it wasn't quite that dramatic.
I like your interpretation, though.
I don't know why. It just felt that way. Oh, Sharpie, I'm out of Eagle Rare. I've moved on to Maker's Mark tonight. Okay, so...
Classic.
Classic. It's getting my brain going. Let's move past
Okay.
that. Send us any feedback on that, because I just think there's too much other interesting stuff to cover.
In typical fashion for the last few episodes, we get a little glimpse of Orietta, then she goes away, and she's hardly a part of the story whatsoever.
It's gonna come back, man. It's a boomerang, trust me.
Yeah, I know, but I'm feeling like it's more annoying than anything. It feels like a friggin' sock that's just not quite right on my foot right now. And I know I'm gonna fix it later, but it sure is bothering the shit out of me.
You're saying you've laced up and there's that little balled up bit of cotton in between one of your toes, and no matter how much you wriggle them, you can't just get it.
Why are you there?
Yeah.
Who put you there? Why would this thing be designed this way?
It's tough. It's so tough. Do we want to do any mailbag? Because we got some pretty good stuff.
Oh.
I mentioned a few things, but it's funny how I've forgotten what we did or didn't mention last night. Is that bad? Is that real bad? That's real bad.
No, I've actually forgotten pretty much everything we've talked about this season.
We're terrible people. Man, I'm blaming it on COVID, man. Everything's moshed together and it's bad.
All right, Mr. McFeely.
How about this? How about we just thank the people who sent in emails, and we'll refer to them. But I will wait. I do want to say Robert.
Oh, I want to talk about Robert. He has some good stuff.
Very, very kindly. He had some good stuff, but not only that, though. Not only that, but the most important, Sharpie. He sent us a Smithsonian Magazine article with a link to the World War II propaganda campaign about carrots helping your eyesight in the dark.
So I wasn't full of
Boom.
shit.
You were. I didn't say you were. I was just laughing at your... I was just laughing at your obsession about the carrots and seeing in the dark. But anyway, the bottom line is, Robert, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah, there was some artwork in there even that was like, carrots give you night vision and so all this stuff. And it was so that they could hide the fact that the British had some sort of radar in the actual airplane.
Yes. Robert also had some wonderful insight about Ethelreda and Satchel sharing the red popping up and all of those things, and many other Oz-related things. So thank you, Robert. We love reading all this, and Beverly is giving us some great stuff, as well as so many people. Can I give you a breakdown that I think is related to the episode, and we can use it a little bit as a lens? We have not discussed this. I have not told you this.
Oh boy,
are you okay?
You're about to give me a lens.
Don't worry, it's not that major. Are
you
going to
tell me how to think?
No, I could never do that. That would be impossible. We've known each other far too long. I just couldn't get away from the layaway thing.
Okay.
Because I do think show titles on this show mean something, and so about an hour ago, before I was about to hop on with you, and unfortunately because of an Apple TV issue, I wasn't able to get a full rewatch, so I did some pondering instead.
I'm glad you pondered on this, because I pondered a little and got nowhere. Other than what we talked about in the hot dish.
Okay.
But enlighten me.
Here's
Bill.
what I think. Yeah, I don't know. None of these things are right. I'm crazy. Layaway is, in essence, help me if I'm still correct. Layaway is the idea of setting aside something that you'll have to pay for later. It's kind of like credit, but,
you just gave
similar.
me an idea. I wonder if you're going to go down the same road I am right now. Okay, go.
So I kept asking myself, what was set aside in this episode?
Are you asking me?
I might as well.
Okay.
I'll see what you think. And
here's something that was set aside. The credit card idea. Lloyd Cannon's only way out, his best way out of the mobster business was the credit card business.
That is a little more literal than I was thinking. It's good because it's similar.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate thing. So you are correct, I think, as well. I think it's a tie back to layaway, this credit idea, but it's stolen. But I thought to myself, what in this episode is put aside that you'll have to pay for in the future? And I think what was put aside in this episode is the truth. Josto lies. He puts aside the truth, and he creates a false economy of some sort that you're going to have to pay for later. And what will be paid for after this? People's lives. Zero, Gaetano, possibly himself, maybe Satchel, right? This lie. It may not be in this episode, but it sets in motion things that are going to happen. He's putting the truth on layaway. And it could kill so many things. And so when I say pay, it's not money. People are going to pay with their lives. People will pay with their livelihoods, the family, the house, as Marissa has talked about, the house, this Italian house may fall, landing on somebody like a witch. And the whole thing is he's living on borrowed credit. He doesn't have the funds to pay it, but he's just trying to look good, save face, and seemingly get ahead is kind of an idea that I'm thinking about with this layaway.
He's trying to act like he's rich.
It's the only thing I can think of that's completely being put aside, and it's the truth.
Boy, Bill, that's pretty good. You've done it again.
Oh, dag-nabbit. What do you think? Do you think that works?
So yeah, I think that's good. I think it's like it's a metaphor for 2020, basically.
I think it ties to a million things.
Yeah.
I think it's not just about this, it's about all the time. There throughout history, we constantly do that as human beings. We set aside something seemingly to get ahead or make something seem better for a minute, only to have to pay. The payback is never worth the interest sometimes. Is it really? I mean, being in debt, having problems. I don't mean that good kind of debt, but I don't know. That was my thought about layaway.
Boy, I really like that, Bill. It is true. I'm just thinking about all the things I'm putting on layaway.
Somewhere in the back of the Fargo Walmart, they've put away the truth, and they're going to try to make payments on it. And what are you paying with to be able to get back to the truth, or whatever it is? There might be something else. Somebody else tell us what they think is being put on layaway.
There's a book called The Business of Expertise. by a guy
Okay.
named David C. Baker. And I'm going to probably not get it 100% right, but he wrote a line in that book that stuck with me basically since I've read that book, which was earlier this summer. And he said it was something along the lines of, be good at what you love and be diligent about what you don't. So in other words, if you're maybe this, I'm trying to loosely tie this into sort of the layaway thing, because there's things that we don't like to do, right? Like pay our taxes, exercise, that kind of stuff. And we end up paying for it later. We put it on layaway, we pay for it later so that we can have what we want to do now.
Or on credit. Credit and layaway are so similar to me, right?
But then it comes back to us, and it's worse. It's worse later. So be good at what you love and be diligent about what you don't. And I always say that every day when there's something I don't want to do, I'm just like, this is what I got to do right now. I have to be diligent about these types of things, whether it's timesheets, accounting, billing, sending that email that you've been neglecting, or writing that post,
right?
That kind of stuff.
Getting around to reviewing the episode of Fargo before you record a podcast in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
I really, on second watch, when I did get a teeny bit of the front end, I do think that that's just so eerie, that scarecrowish scene where they leave him laid out there and the birds are chirping. I'm sorry, I've cut ahead to the, I just forgot the poor gent's name. Thank you. Yeah.
Antoon Domini.
Antoon Domini, laying there, just dead.
Looking like a scarecrow with all the crows around him.
Well, and all the empty, like those, they're crosses, but they just look like sticks you could put up scarecrows on.
Yeah.
Poor guy. So on the second listen through on that front end, I did catch something interesting. I don't know if it's going to have any meaning, but Calamita says he killed Mario. Choke your sister. And he says he's probably running to the Mulligan right now. Like, choke your sister? What? Like, that's a story I'm not positive about. Killed Mario. Maybe I just missed who Mario was. And it's a character we know and saw, but choke your sister was...
neither of those rang a bell, so definitely the sister one. I don't know. But then,
that ending when Josto says, I always say, I feel like I'm saying Josto.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Whatever.
But somewhere there's somebody listening to this going, you dip.
Actually, I don't know what I say.
Yeah.
Didn't we just get done saying about how we don't remember anything?
Little Fada, kill he's kill everyone you have to and leave them for the birds. It's just, that's sadness, man. And then we eventually end up with Leon, Happy's cousin, in a pretty serious beatdown.
Yeah, that was interesting. And by interesting, I mean, not really. I felt like they were trying a little bit too hard to make Chris Rock look like a gangster.
I felt a little bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of came out of nowhere. It came and went, and I was like, meh. I didn't really think too much of it. I wasn't like, it didn't shock me. I wasn't like, oh my God, he's a bad boy. And he's already had one outburst in front of his wife, Buell. He didn't beat her or anything, but so that's good.
He lost his cool. He lost his cool.
So we know he loses his cool, but he's a gangster. I mean, that kind of that's like rhetorical in a sense.
Yeah.
To use a word from the show.
Do you think they're trying to show us that for the most part we've seen him as methodical and articulate in what he's trying to accomplish, but yet as a mirror opposite of shooting from the hip, he's planning and seeing a bigger game, whereas the Fadas both brothers are just kind of aimlessly, sticking it around in the dark, trying to fuck something up, but yet he has Loy has these hints of everybody breaks, even the best of them break from time to time. But I think you're right. They're trying to make sure that we know he's capable of not just telling people to do awful things, but be awful himself.
Yeah. Loy Cannon. Let's talk about him for a second.
Okay.
Because I've watched and read a couple of interviews with Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And, in multiple interviews now, he's brought up Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, the boxer. No, the baseball player.
Baseball player. So he's already talked about the boxer, Sugar Ray Leonard, in one episode. But I'm talking about Jackie Robinson, the first African American to play in Major League Baseball.
Right.
Outside of the Negro League. So he has some interesting there's some interesting stories that he brings up about Jackie Robinson, because Jackie Robinson entering Major League Baseball in 1947, I believe, for the Dodgers. He left the Negro League, went to play for the Dodgers, which kind of opened the door to African Americans entering Major League Baseball. Okay, so everybody thought that was like groundbreaking and everything like that. But the flip side of it, Raro Piaglio, was interesting, something that I've never really known about prior to Chris Rock bringing this up, and that was how devastating Jackie Robinson going to the MLB was for black-owned businesses that centered on the Negro baseball
on those leagues, yeah.
Like all types of businesses, like that made, like food businesses, concessions, stadiums, all of these black-owned businesses that were very successful completely collapsed and went away as soon as African Americans started following Jackie Robinson's lead into MLB.
Right, and so you're just also
was pretty interesting.
Know,
it made me think about
because wasn't it around 1951 that the Negro American League eventually folded? That was their last season, so it's timely to this
exactly.
This story. Sorry if that was a point you were going to make, but I mean it is.
Yeah. And we know there have been references to that league throughout the show because it's been on the radio. So there's something there, and I don't know if it
during Rado Piaglio.
I don't know if it's and I don't know if it's foreshadowing, what could happen in the show or what, but I think it's pretty interesting. Chris Rock has a lot to say about this. He did an interview with Trevor Noah. There's a Noah in there somewhere.
There's a Noah.
Noah Hawley, the writer of Fargo, and
right.
Trevor Noah of The Daily Show. So he talked about it a little bit on there. He also talked about it in an article on the New York Times, which I think everybody should go check out. It's pretty cool. He goes on to say, I'll quote him here because it's worth a little quote. He said, "Robinson's success in the big leagues was a tremendous sign of progress. But as I tell our guests when they visit the Negro League Museum," this is actually, this is not Chris Rock. This is a guy from the Negro League Museum. He says, "There's always a cost for progress." Kendrick said, "Black businesses paid a dear cost. There was an entire workforce that ended up losing their jobs because of that." But then Chris Rock says, "Humanity isn't progress. It's only progress for the person taking your humanity." So what he was referring to was they talk about Jackie Robinson joining Major League Baseball as, progress for African Americans, but that's not the progress. The progress is for the people that didn't think that could happen. It's the people that literally had like a mental handicap thinking that these people were lesser. That's the progress, not in like blacks moving forward, because they were just, it's not like other African Americans couldn't do what Jackie Robinson did.
Strange but unrelated Black Baseball League chatter. Also from those similar early leagues is a gentleman named Satchel Paige. Have you ever heard that name?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know that Satchel Paige played in a semi-pro team for a little-known team called the Bismarcks in North Dakota?
I did not know that. Were the Bismarcks in Bismarck?
Yes, it was a North Dakota semi-pro. They were they were. You can look all this up. It was according to Wikipedia, it was his first experience playing on an integrated team in the United States. And so he helped. They say he helped Bismarck beat the local rivals in Jamestown.
Sure.
So interesting actual tie through the Midwest, through these players to actual North Dakota, which is where Fargo is located. Fun stuff.
Great unplanned tie-in, Bill.
Yeah, nice backup for you though. You're right; it's been in there. So I wondered about that though because his name is Satchel, and I don't know any of the background of that. You know, I just wondered if that's his real name. You know, what if we find out they call him Satchel because that's his nickname because he likes baseball.
Likes baseball, yeah.
You know, and so how do we know that Satchel isn't his favorite player or
sure.
You know what I mean? And all that jazz, but I just looked up Satchel Paige real quick. His last Major League Baseball appearance in the MLB was in September 25th, 1965 for the Kansas City Athletics.
There you go.
He played for the Kansas City Monarchs for quite a few years. Satchel Paige has a very long and storied career. He's a great player.
The Monarchs were on the radio. They were one of the teams playing on the radio in Satchel and Rabbi's room.
That's interesting because he wasn't at that time in history. He was playing for the either the Philadelphia Stars or the St. Louis Browns.
Okay.
Anyway, we've digressed so far.
That's a good digression, though.
That was for those of you who listen to Nerdy Tech Podcast, that was the Jason Snell, John Gruber deep dive into baseball that has nothing to do with tech. Have you ever had one of those episodes? Yeah. Okay, so the only quick thing tying back into it, and I know that Mark on Twitter pointed it out, and I have it in my notes as well, that Leon says, I got brains. You know, for anybody who doesn't have a brain, if we're coming back to the Wizard of Oz.
He's got big brains.
Big brains. He's not just muscle.
Oh.
But I'm more curious what's going to happen that he's Happy's cousin. Like, Happy must be somebody of note if they're worried about beating, like if Loy needs to worry about beating up Happy and they're going to need his help. They're either equals or he's bigger. And we know from going out to the car to see Otis and Deffy that this isn't where Loy started. He's, and we already had flashbacks to asking if he misses New York and all this jazz.
Mm-hmm. Happy's definitely a significant character. Because not only that, Loy didn't really know who he was, but when all of a sudden he was Happy's cousin, he's now driving Loy's son around, like, without question. He really went from being not unknown to Loy to being right next to Loy for the rest of the show, I guess. That's pretty.
He's definitely
so
a
Happy has some pull.
Yeah, but he's also really annoying him.
Yeah, he's super annoying. I have some mail from the mailbag.
Grab bag, go for it.
I wanted to chat a little bit quickly about yesterday, since we're coming up on the snowman here.
Ooh.
So yesterday you had mentioned.
Wait, so you want to skip over the tag team duos in the car of Deffy and Otis? That would be the next thing. How about I just say one quick thing and then we talk about Snowman? I keep wondering.
Okay.
Two quick things. I'm sorry. He quotes a bunch of Mormon stuff. He that killed us shall die. I feel like he's foreshadowing the fact that he won't kill anyone because he's so devout. And it's this whole the blood oath thing. So if you kill somebody, you don't get to go to heaven. Blah, blah, blah. We'll skip over that just a little bit. But he's talking about this little bird, and I think he's the little bird. He just doesn't want to admit he's following him around. That's where his little information is coming from because
he's making up the little birdie. Yeah. He's definitely making up the little birdie.
Here's the weird thing about that. I kept thinking, why does he keep calling him Palomino?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something there. What's that, a horse?
So a Palomino is a very specific, it's not a horse breed. And somebody's going to write and go, yes, it is. There's these alleles. And don't worry, I read about it. But in general, it's a color. And it's typically supposed to have a gold or yellow coat with a white mane and tail. But what I think about it, though, is Palomino is that kind of lion color a little bit. Lions are golden and brown. But here's the weird part. Do you know what Palomino means? It comes from the Spanish word that means young pigeon, bird. And so he keeps calling him Palomino, and he says, a little bird told me. But what I think he's really saying is, you're the little bird.
You told me.
You're telling me everything I need to know about you because I'm just watching you. You're telegraphing all of the terrible things you do in your life. And that's my guess about the Palomino thing.
That's good.
It's not really about the horse. It's not about the horse. It's about the other thing, maybe. Mr. Ed was a Palomino. Just in case you're wondering. And Trigger.
So,
anyway,
that is interesting. Yeah, so the little birdie. He's
little birdie. So he's the young pigeon, which means, anyway. So let's go back to your thing. I'm sorry.
Young pigeon.
Thank you for indulging me.
Well, if we're sitting in that car with the young pidge and Deffy, and we're looking out the windshield, they do a little shot there where you see they're kind of catching the corner of Apex Vending. And, the vending whole aspect of the whole name of the business is cut off and it just says Apex on the little Loy Cannon Fortress over there.
Really?
So I don't know if that's on purpose or whatever, but it has me thinking that, Apex meaning climax, like everything's going to probably come to a climax at that location. That's my prediction. And I'm going to get more into my predictions later on. But
I like that, dude. That's fun.
Yeah.
I like it. Talk to me about Mr. Snowman. Tell me about that. We're at the Smut. So for everyone else, we're at the Smutney house. They're bringing in boxes of cigarettes. They're using it as a storage place. Ethelrita and Lemuel,
like the Bible,
meet. And go scene
and action.
Action.
Yes. So as Lemuel's in there poking around, we see Snowman doing what you accurately described as the useless box, or also called the useless machine, which are those little boxes where you press a button or something, and then a little hand comes out of the box and flips the switch the opposite way that you pressed it. So yes, you were correct in that was called a useless box or a useless machine.
I don't know if that's what they were going for. It
reminded us. It reminded
it's the little Japanese cat paw that comes out and goes wink and just flips the switch.
So it reminded us of that. And then we at the beginning. So this is what writer superfan Brent writes in and says. You started the episode of The Hot Dish with I Can Help, which was actually from Season 3, not Season 2, which we incorrectly said Season 2 yesterday in The Hot Dish.
We did?
Yes, Season 3.
Wait, did you say Brent?
Brent corrected us and said it was actually from Season 3, which, yes, because it had Gloria, or whatever her name was. And the funny thing is, the episode with the little... rover that says I can help is the same episode where there is a useless box in the episode that she finds in the closet.
That's right.
Do you remember
I forgot about that. No. How did I forget about that?
I totally forgot about it too, dude.
Son of a. Oh.
So we somehow tied two things together in the Hot Dish and didn't even know it. Season 3, Episode 3. I can help. Useless machine.
Wait, which email was this? So I make sure I flag it so I read it because I forwarded you. Or did you get one that I didn't get?
It was just sent to me, bro.
Oh, it's just okay. Because now you have me feeling bad that I didn't remember somebody's name, and you're like Brent. I'm like
I'm side emailing.
Uh-oh. Okay,
that's right.
Either way, that's great. That's wonderful.
How great is that?
That's subliminal.
So. This is the only scene...
Great Paris of the Plains, you're onto something.
This is the only scene we see Ethelrita, and again, Orietta, man, I'm getting a little disappointed in how disconnected we are getting from Ethelrita. I know
Yes.
it's all coming back, but I'm having a hard time caring. You know what I mean?
I think it's because they started her so strong as
Yeah.
the narrator, and you're drawn into her, and I think her strong attitude and her acting, I think, were so good, and I think that's it's almost oh, I was about to say something terrible. I was gonna say it's almost like she deserves to be on a real drama.
Oh God.
When I mean that, I mean like this is like a quirky drama. There's weirdness in it, but I understand you can make really great points. I mean, The Simpsons makes amazing, satirical points, but yeah. Anyway,
well, here's what
I
we
agree
were
with you.
we
I
were
agree with
led
you.
to believe that she was sort of like Molly Salverson type character, or
Yeah, that's a no.
yeah, we were led to believe that she was going to be sort of that role, and maybe the joke's on us. What we thought wasn't true, or what we were expecting didn't turn out to be the case. So we were kind of led for her to be sort of this protagonist kind of hero, and being a person of color and a woman. And it was like, oh, great. Now these white crooked cops are the bad guys. So it's like, cool. We've got a woman
there's
of
even a
color
criminal-
who's going to lead the charge. And then she kind of just fades away.
Well, and on top of that, on your thing though, also, but they are setting us up. Loy's crew is moving into her house, and she doesn't seem comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even when she doesn't even want to talk to him. He's like, "What?" But it's almost like she knows there's something creepy in the room. Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, I think the Smutneys have like sixth sense for the snowmen. For sure.
I did pause, boy. For a minute, I thought Mr. Snowman, or not Mr., just Snowman, or Mr. Snow, I don't know.
Mr. Snowman.
Mr. Snowman. We're mixing that with Sandman.
Bring me a dream.
Bring me a cone.
Bring me some cream.
I thought for a minute he was wearing like some Ringo Starr shades in there for a second, but it wasn't. It was just darkness.
He's just vegan.
He's just vegan.
He's got those sunken eyes.
Sunken eyes. Yeah, he's like, oh, don't write and don't add us vegans, okay? Yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated by it, even after last night when we talked about it. I can't wait for the payoff. It is the UFO thing for me this year, more than anything else.
Yeah, it's
like I just can't wait. I just can't wait for whatever wonderfully weird thing is going to happen, and I'm fine being as patient as I can about it. But I also want some sort of payoff in it, like some sort of spiritual payoff, maybe. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. Calamita, or as you call him, calamari.
Mm-hmm. A calamari.
Or wait, did you notice that the Feed and Seed place is back in Kansas?
No,
not Missouri. That's where that is. So get ready to go to Kank. Oh, I know something I was going to ask you about.
Shoot.
We get this audible dialogue of Marco Polo.
Mm-hmm.
I had to look up Marco Polo based on some Wikipedia crap, which is, the total truth. That can
100% true.
The Marco Polo that we think of that's played in pools was not generally invented until the 60s. But it was based off a game, I believe, Blind Man's Bluff? No. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Blind Man's Bluff. But Marco Polo, the person, Italian, Venetian to be exact. So, I still don't understand why they were sitting in the room saying, Marco Polo. Marco Polo. I don't know if they're trying to find each other or, you know what I mean?
I don't know. They were in the same room when they were playing that, right?
Yes, and that's why I'm saying I don't know enough about Blind Man's Bluff, and I didn't research enough before tonight to know. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I've let you all down.
Yeah, you did definitely let me down there. But we are playing a little Marco Polo now with Calamari and Rabbi and Satchel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to the Feed and Seed. Or
I
whatever it
think
was
that's
called.
what something. There's got to be something about that. Why else would he pull that out of the Bible?
Yeah.
So interesting that he's so religious that even before he opened the Bible, he put the sign of the cross up.
Yep.
You know, nobody. I'm going to kill some people, but hold on. Let me do a little sign of the cross here before I open this.
He doesn't want bad luck. He's superstitious.
No. I'm still hung up on your circles that are everywhere. The circle mirror, all the wreaths are tiny. Maybe that was just a sign of the times that wreaths were small. You know, on Dr. Harvard's door, it was just a little circle, but I noticed that they're, even on his face and in the background, they're almost always the same size, no matter whether they're close or far away in the scene. You notice that?
That is something I definitely did not notice.
Yeah, they never seem to take up more than a certain percentage. Like, I'm showing Sharpie on, we can see each other. You know what I mean? They're never bigger than like this. Yeah.
It's just the blood of Oz permeating
the blood
through.
of Oz.
That's right.
So we make our way into the Apex
Yes.
warehouse, and the thing that I thought about that was really interesting was this concept of, and I mean, I'm also watching The Sopranos right now, so that's probably not helping me, but the whole Ebel saying, well, you can't just, you know, they're made guys, like, you can't do this. Like, there's this more constancy of rules that don't apply to other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, no, there's rules. You have to respect the rules that we're making, but we can do, you know, whatever the hell we want. You know, that's just the system. Don't look at me. And that's where I think that Chris Rock, Loy is just not, he's not taking any of that shit. He's like, okay. And I think that Josto's realizing that, and realizing the duality of that situation, and that's where he just is like, well, I'm gonna make some shit up and basically run a double cross sort of thing. I don't know, what would you call that?
It's a triple cross, I think. Yeah, I think it's a triple cross.
Or is he's lying to get somebody else to do his dirty work?
I don't want
to do your dirty work.
Let's unpack it a little bit so that
we
can kind of understand what's going on and listeners can get a recap. So, and I want to make sure that I'm understanding things correctly, mostly.
Right.
That's my priority here. So,
do you have a diagram? Because I'm not joking, I almost drew one.
I've got a bulletin board, and I'm pinning the threads across.
Mm-hmm.
I've got
that's for conspiracy theories.
Well, okay, so
Wow.
Josto tells Loy that Satchel's dead, and that it was Calamari's doing. Calamida's doing. I'm just gonna stick with Calamari. It's Calamari's doing, and in the process, Rabbi defended Satchel, but also died. That's what he tells Loy, correct?
Right.
So now Loy is led to believe Calamari killed Rabbi and Satchel. And
wait. I don't think he said that Rabbi's dead.
Yeah, I believe he said Rabbi got caught in like the mix.
Okay.
Yeah, so Josto says to Loy that Calamita has killed Satchel, and that Irish Rabbi Milligan,
tried to step in,
and also was killed. Got.
They got. It's all in the game.
At the hands of Calamita, who Josto makes it seem like was at the beck and call of Gaetano. So Gaetano's really responsible for all this. Okay?
They're a package deal. These two.
Yeah.
Two, again.
So Calamita's just doing what Gaetano told him to do. Meanwhile, Josto's telling Calamita to go kill Rabbi and Satchel. So he's got like two steam engines going at each other right now. And the timing basically has to work out perfect for things to work out for Josto. I have a feeling that's not going to happen.
So as they're in this place, he has Calamita trying to actually kill Satchel and Rabbi.
Yep.
He tells him that he didn't say that that's what he ordered them to do, but it's what he knows he's going to do. And so he wants him to kill Gaetano instead of the trade. And then on top of it, he's trying to make sure that he also kills Calamita by telling him he killed his boy.
Right. Exactly.
Ooh, that's a gamble. That's a gamble, brother.
That's exactly it. So, for things to work out for Josto, Calamita has to be successful in finding and killing Rabbi and Satchel.
That's a lot of truth.
Loy has to kill
to put on layaway.
Yep, exactly. That's a lot of truth to put on layaway.
Because everybody's alive.
Everybody's alive.
Except for Doctor.
Oh.
Damn it.
Both doctors. Two doctors dead.
Two doctors are dead. Oh my God. You're actually right. We can't stop. This whole season is called...
I'm annoying myself, man.
I love you, Sharpie. I love you so much. Okay, sorry. You were saying so...
Yeah, so then Loy has to kill Gaetano, and then Loy has to still be in such a rage that he's going to go after Calamita. That's a lot of chess playing for old Josto's little bird brain.
We don't know what's going to happen, but in a theoretical world, based on what Loy thinks and he tells his wife, even if it isn't true, and Calamita fails, gets killed, it does create a perfect world in which Rabbi and Satchel can disappear.
Yep.
Because in a world where I think Loy maybe, quote unquote, I'm going to use air quotes, wins, because Josto will be dead, Calamita will be dead, Gaetano will be dead, and he thinks his kid's dead because it's the only truth he's been sold.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. What a rough world.
Isn't that nuts?
You want to watch like an episode of Friends or something right now?
I'm a Seinfeld guy.
That's fine too. I'll do that. I'll do it. Man.
Yeah, but for real.
Thanks for the dark breakdown.
I'm going to need a lot of comedy after the next 24 hours. Okay. So we unpacked that. So everybody on the same page here? Everybody got it?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm going to, you know what? I will speak for our listening audience. We're with you. Except for the people screaming at us about how wrong we might be about something.
Which is probably half the people.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously we all know this. Loy's not going to buy into the spiel.
Yeah.
And they part. Loy's not buying it. He doesn't want to be dragged down into the dirt where they want him to be. That's what he says.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's that he doesn't buy it. I think he just doesn't want to play into the actions they're
I guess that's correct. Yeah. He's not.
Doesn't mean he thinks they're lying.
He does. It does feel like he thinks Satchel's really gone. I mean, we see the sort of. We see him.
Oh yeah.
We see him. We see them try to make us feel sad for Loy when
for a couple seconds.
Yeah, when they replay his kid Satchel playing in the park and whatever.
Right.
Didn't really work for me, but I see what they're trying to do. So, and he tells his wife Buell, which I don't know if I knew her name before this. Buell, interesting name, Buell Cannon. She actually has her initials on her belt.
Yes.
BMC, I believe it was. So that was a little bit heart-wrenching, a little bit to hear her scream. So that's the truth that she's now been sold. So now their whole family thinks that Satchel is gone. So Satchel has a getaway card if he wants one. You know those getaway cards.
I got 4.
Yeah, you got to keep them.
Yes.
You should have them in separate locations. So that's interesting. And then shortly after that, I'm not sure how much you want to go into that, but shortly after that, we see sort of Loy come across that Diners Club sign. You think a little bit about Doctor and his friends, and you think about how much Loy's lost, and then you kind of get the feels for him a little bit, but just a little bit. And his Diners Club idea has now been ripped up. Now that we talked about credit cards back in that first episode when Loy Cannon and Dr. Senator had that idea to invent the credit card basically. So they put that on layaway. Now they're paying for it. So Doctor's dead. The credit card does come out in the form of the Diners Club credit card, and that is the real first credit card. Um, developed by businessman Frank McNamara. So this, I thought, was an interesting story, and we did talk about it a little bit, so I'll just kind of like briefly go over this because I do feel like it's like a total statement in white privilege a little bit, because we're led to believe that Loy and Doctor came up with this idea, and they went to banks to try to sell it, and nobody was buying it, and everybody thought it was crazy. The credit card, or the charge card, is what it was called at the time, was developed by Frank McNamara because he forgot his wallet at a restaurant one time. And they were just like, "Oh, we're sorry, Mr. McNamara. It's okay." And he's like, "You know what? You should just trust me. Here's a cardboard thing that's worth money." And it happened in 1950, February of 1950. Frank McNamara went to Major's Cabin Grill with one of his business partners. His name was Ralph Schneider. The bill arrived, and McNamara paid with a small cardboard card known as the Diners Club card, which was this event was hailed as the First Supper, paving the way for the world's first multi-purpose charge card. That's from the Diners Club website as it is today. So how messed up is that a white guy can just go and be like, "Oh, yep, sorry, forgot my wallet, but
yeah,
here you go. Trust me, kid, this is worth money.
Yeah,
I'll pay you later." Just slaps Loy Cannon right in the face.
Oh, yeah, it was clearly, driving in the car, he's like, "Pull over." It was clearly meant to be distressing to him that so many things in the world are seemingly pushing against him. He's got violence, trouble, personal tragedy, a harrowing journey against what he's trying to make legitimacy in business and get ahead and get away from the other game he was playing, being the numbers or being a bookie or a racketeer. But yeah.
So
there's one small thing I noticed, because you know me, I love numbers and background. There's a lot of 3s in the Cannon household. If you go back to when we showed up for the useless box with Snowman, there are 3 that we see in the scene, 3 wreaths on the staircase. There's another scene with Buell where we see 3 candles. And then towards the middle section, when Loy, somewhere around the jump rope scene, we see him kind of staring vacantly out the window. There's technically 5 candles, but 3 of them are red.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
I was trying to figure that out. I mean, there is a painting by what's his, Marc Chagall. You know what I'm talking about, the French painter?
Mm-hmm.
He has that one called The 3 Candles, and that's in there. I just wasn't sure if we were connecting to some sort of France. We've got this Parisian connection in France, and we've got the Italian connections. Or who knows? Somebody might have just said, "We got 3 red candles and 2 white ones," and like, fuck it, put it in the scene. They look great.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that little green light off to the left. There's always just this color going on in here. There's just always stuff creeping in, little bits and pieces of stuff. Very interesting. Well, so here's my question. So we, talking about the scene, let's odds and sods here as we close into some sort of wrap up, right?
Okay.
Odds and sods. Swanee and them are headed west. There's got to be something to that.
They're outlaws.
Well, they're outlaws, but they're going to Philly. You
think they're actually going to Philly? I don't think they make it. I don't think they.
No. I'm just saying it's just it's where they're being pushed. They're trying to be pushed, but I don't know, man. I'm really stuck on a few things with both of them that I can't completely put my finger on just yet. But I think it's because I get too wound up on other things.
Well, we've got a lot of characters here, to be honest.
Yeah. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this is the year that either I see the most things or I'm thinking about the most things. because we're trying to like there's so much layer and nuance, and I wonder if that's what's, when I look at other reviews where people are like, ugh, it's boring, and I'm like, I think it's because it's just such a heavy layered story, not only of characters, but there's this smattering of political stuff. There's a smattering of references to like French and Italian culture, and there's references to the Wizard of Oz, and there's references to astrology, and it's a lot to take on sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I think. Swanee doesn't want to leave because she's an outlaw. She's a gangster. She wants to play shoot 'em ups. Swanee doesn't want to leave, so she's going to convince. I'm in prediction mode, I guess, now. So she doesn't want to leave. She convinces, let's say this. She convinces Zelmar, hey, let's continue our little adventure here. Let's go to the Fada house.
Right.
Let's play some shoot 'em ups at the Fada house. So they go off, skip their train, go to the Fada house. Meanwhile, Gaetano, the tornado, the guy tornado.
Tasmanian devil.
Yep. Peg Leg Pete, guy tornado. He also is on his way to the Fada house. He's like he's on his way there because he now knows that his brother wanted him dead. He wanted his family dead. He wanted his house burned to the ground.
Right.
What was that? Bronx Tale, maybe? I don't remember. So he's going back to the house to get revenge on his brother. And we know that Gaetano's a tornado because that's what Joseph said. So he's going to go in there, guns a-blazing. Meanwhile, all these parties are going to converge at the Fada house. Gaetano, the outlaw witches, Swanee, and Zelmar. And there's this small little battle. Okay? Swanee dies in the crossfire.
You think so?
Yep. Calamari isn't at the house, but he catches wind of Peg Leg Pete's rampage. Got it? So he gets fired up. So now he's like, it's on. The old world Italians are rising up. And he goes to Apex to play some shoot 'em ups. So he's like, my boy Gaetano's back at the house. He's saying, goodbye, Fada. Goodbye, Mata. I'm going to go to Apex, play me some shoot 'em ups. Meanwhile, Otis and Deffy, they witnessed the whole thing. They witnessed the whole thing at the Fada house because that's what they do. They're little birdies perched outside, just sitting in their car, not really doing too much. So they see that all go down. They're like, holy shit, it's going down. And Otis, being the Leo that he is, Otis the lion, Leotis, he starts to get some courage and he's like, you know what? This is my time. I got to pick a side. I got to help my boy Lloyd Cannon. Okay? So he's like, I got to blaze out of here and warn the cannons that shit's going down at the Fada house and everything's going crazy. And I saw Calamari take off and head towards the Apex vending machine fortress. So he goes to Apex. And all these parties are now converging at Apex, the true battleground.
The apex of the...
Yes, the apex of the war. Meanwhile, erstwhile Tin Man and Dorothy Satchel are kind of just walking along the countryside with their hobo sticks and their sacks on the end of their hobo sticks. And they're like, well, I want to go at least see my family before I head off. And head off into the promised land. So they go kind of like sneaking along the rooftops is how I picture it. They're along the rooftops and they're looking down and they see Calamari like pull into Apex. They see Otis and Deffy pull in separately. They're not together. They're just all converging. And there was a firefight. Okay?
I'm with your fan fiction here.
And basically, Tin Man, Rabbi Milligan, and Dorothy Satchel basically watch everybody like just get obliterated. Otis dies defending Loy Cannon, so he's going after Calamari. He's like, I'm going to defend my boy that I picked this side now because I'm a courageous lion.
I'm really imagining you doing this with a cardboard cutout, like puppet theater, the way it's coming out. I'm not. I'm trying to figure out where do I diagram this out, and can I burst your bubble just a little bit?
Oh, no.
You don't think that you're missing pieces here?
I'm getting there. I swear to God, I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay.
Okay, put a bow on this for me.
Okay,
brother.
so Deafy escapes the bloodshed. For the rest of his career, he's now gonna have his ear to the ground, and he's always gonna be looking for the Mick and Satchel. The Mick. Did you know the Tin Man's name was Nick Chopper? Tin Man's name was Nick. The Tin Man was the Nick, and this is the Mick. Anyway, okay. So meanwhile, so we had a battle at the Fodder House. We had the big battle at the Apex, but guess what? We have a whole other side of the story here. Radapialio. So on the other side of Oz, we've got Zelmar returning to the house. She's all butthurt because her lover's dead. So she's back at the Smutney house with Debrel, with Therm. What is his name? Thurman? Who even knows?
Yep.
Who even
Andrew
knows
Bird.
anymore?
Andrew Bird.
With actual Andrew Bird. He's no longer Thurman.
He has been. The snowman transforms him into musician Andrew Bird.
Yeah. So Zelmar is one of the Wicked Witches. She's there. Debrel's like, what's going on? Meanwhile, Snowman rises up and he's like, I'm going to start some shit now. It's been too long. Orietta's sneaking around the back porch. She's like, what's going on in here? I'm going to figure out what's going on. There's this battle between Debrel and the Snowman and Zelmar because the Snowman's been haunting Debrel and Zelmar their entire life. And finally he rises up and he's trying to kill him. And Debrel has all these like secret powers that we didn't know about until now, and all this like magical stuff started happening. All of this like otherworldly energies combine to form an actual tornado that lifts the house off the ground and carries it away with Ethelrita inside of it. Thurman, Debrel, Zelmar, and the Snowman, they all perish in just giant, like crazy magical explosions. But Ethelrita gets taken away and that's your magical mystery tornado crazy Oz UFO shit that you wanted. And it takes them away, and it takes them to a whole nother land called Fargaz.
Wow. How have I let you go on this long?
And then the next story begins, the Blizzard of Fargaz.
When and where does the deals made to have Joe Bulo's gotta show up because they've brought him up? That's not maybe unless that's just a passing thing.
That's a passing thing.
That's just passing. Joe Bulo and his crew never coming back.
They never come back. Orietta never connects with Josto again. So they had like
guns
a little
are useless.
brief.
Guns are useless against tornadoes.
Yep.
And Happy's cousin
doesn't matter. Well, he
matter.
dies in the Apex shootout.
No, Happy though. I'm talking about Happy.
Oh, we don't even know Happy.
We need him.
Happy's not coming.
We don't know. He's never coming.
And Orietta and Josto, they just had a little fling, so there's no more handies going on there. They just never connect again.
Whiz-bang powder. It was not built to last.
Nope. That's how it all plays out, everyone.
Wow. I don't know how to I don't know how to help you, man.
Do you have any predictions?
Nothing that deep. I just want to Billy Madison you right there. In no way.
That is correct.
No.
I thought you were going to take your shirt off.
No, that in no way in any attempt to something. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Well, you went deep on that in your fan fiction.
That's just what I do. It's not fan fiction. It's that's a prediction.
I did have one note that I just loved. if you go and look at, there's that scene when they're at Pee-wee's and Zelmar and Swanee are talking to the Cowardly Lion, and they look like a very interesting cast of characters together. You should check it out. It's approximately maybe 10 minutes left.
Okay.
But it's a really great shot, just for starters. It just looks really cool. There's all these blue and they're both there. And it's a 3-shot, which makes me sit there and go, crap, are we wrong? Are we wrong? Maybe he is the lion, but the other two, are they the people that are going to save, quote unquote, Dorothy, or, these unassuming, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Is it the unassuming people that we're not thinking about? I don't know.
Very well be. Yeah.
I don't know. His suit sure is brownish orange this episode.
His
Otis
suit
is.
I mean, it almost looks like he's wearing the lion suit. He looks like it's like that nice auburny brown color. He's got the little hat on the back of his head, and it's perfectly round. It looks like a little lion's mane behind his head.
Yeah. They want us to give a shit about him for a reason. I don't know what that completely is yet. But I mean, isn't that why we had to watch him pack up his house and have the flashback memory with his lady he lost?
I guess they're trying to shoehorn some emotion into this episode. I felt like.
Oh, the other thing I was going to say that I maybe didn't mention, there's been a few times, I think there's birds on his tie. Or one of the ties he's packing as well.
There's birds on the Pidge's tie?
Yeah.
The Pidge.
All those little Hummels got to get packed up so tidy. So tidy and nice. I don't know, man. I think there's gonna be some mayhem and chaos in this next episode. I think you're right. That's a tornado. I'll agree to that for sure. That there's gonna be a twisting and turning of things at a pretty serious pace.
So the show is the tornado.
No, I mean the situation is, it's turbulent. But yeah.
All right.
I'm going to literally edit this and re-listen to your whole thing, and I'm going to try to diagram it.
Yeah, I want to see it up on the wall behind you next time.
I will.
At the next Hot Dish. Season 4, Episode 8 is coming up next, folks. Only 5 left, I think.
Yeah. Well, so if you've got any thoughts on Sharpie's Major Theory or Layaway or any of these things, and if we didn't get to some of your comments, we apologize, but we are reading them, we are looking at them. I reply to some people as I have a moment. You can email us at podcast@FargoTalksFargo. You can follow us on the Twitter @FargoTalksFargo. Thanks to everybody who's sending out all sorts of great tweets at us, and we appreciate that. And yeah. Next week, Sunday. Episode 8.
Yeah,
we'll see you then.
It's going to be on the other side of the world, man. Good luck out there.